Naofumi is a lonely college student who spends most of his time reading manga or watching anime. He is a good student, intelligent, charming, and has excellent instincts. Still, he prefers the company of his books since he feels that he doesn't belong anywhere. One day when he's reading The Legend of the Four Heroes, he's magically transported inside the book. He suddenly finds himself at Melromarc, a beautiful and highly religious country that resembles a fantasy land. The people in Melromarc are part of the extremist faction of the religion of the Four Saints, the Church of the Three Heroes. Upon his arrival, Naofumi, being a person familiar with fantasy stories, feels optimistic about his destiny, believing that he'll become powerful and famous for helping people. After discovering that he was summoned to be one of the legendary heroes of that world, more specifically the Shield Hero, he meets another group of chosen boys. Motoyasu is a cheerful, optimistic, and somewhat naive boy summoned to be the Spear Hero. Ren is a lonely and short-spoken high school student who's called to be the Sword Hero. Finally, Itsuki is a boy from an affluent family summoned to be the Bow Hero. Once the four boys are together, they are presented to Altcray, the king of Melromarc. After the introductions, the king lets them know that it's vital that the heroes train and level up as the waves are approaching, which is a series of enemies who plan to attack the kingdom. Altcray immediately expresses his dislike for the Shield Hero, and the royal court supports him by treating Naofumi with disdain. Furthermore, the religion, the Church of the Three Heroes, only recognizes and gives privileges to the Spear, Sword, and Bow heroes, ignoring and even mistreating the Shield Hero. To strengthen the heroes, the king provides them with money and a group of elite soldiers to help them on their missions. Each hero has a group of soldiers except Naofumi, who's left with only Malty, the king's daughter. The hero believed that being with the king's daughter would be a nice bonus that would cover his lack of a team, but he was wrong. On the first day, Malty makes him spend all his money, leaving him bankrupt, and tries to seduce him. When she's not successful, Malty falsely accuses Naofumi of trying to take advantage of her on their first night. When he finds himself in front of the heroes and the king, surrounded by guards ready to imprison him, Naofumi has a revelation. He realizes that everyone there hates him and judges him without knowing him, believing him to be the weakest hero of the entire group. For this reason, he decides to free himself, run away, and go on missions alone to become a mighty hero and prove his innocence. During one of his missions, Naofumi crosses paths with Belittled, a slave trading merchant, and buys Raphtalia. She's a demi-human girl with the appearance of a tanuki, Japanese raccoon. She lived in a village of demi-humans, also known as hybrids, along with her parents when the waves attacked. Her parents sacrificed themselves to save her, but suddenly, soldiers approached the town, killed the adult survivors, and sold the children to slavers when the wave ended. For years, she suffered from abuse by her owners, generating her immense fear and distrust of humans. When Raphtalia meets Naofumi, she believes he'll be another evil human. However, upon discovering that he's the Shield Hero, the one the hybrids worship, makes her change her mind. Naofumi treats her kindly and respectfully, buying her clothes and letting her have fun like an ordinary girl. However, Naofumi also reveals that the real reason he takes her is for her to feel the role of a warrior, since he himself has no offensive skills. The girl accepts the conditions, and Naofumi begins to train her to level up and become a great warrior. After several weeks of training, Naofumi and Raphtalia have become a couple of combat-savvy heroes. Also, thanks to her level ups, Raphtalia goes from looking like a little girl to a more mature woman. Suddenly, the wave the king warned him about hits the world, and both heroes get ready to fight. During the battle, Naofumi and Raphtalia manage to save the village and defeat all the monsters relatively easily. After the fight, the heroes receive invitations to attend a party from the king to celebrate their victories. Once at the party, the duo runs into Motoyasu, who now has Malty as a partner. During the event, all the other heroes and their partners begin to glare and talk behind Naofumi's back for having a hybrid as a partner. Believing he holds her as an enslaved pet, Motoyasu challenges Naofumi to a duel for Raphtalia's freedom. Naofumi manages to have the advantage in the fight until Malty interferes and casts a spell that weakens him, allowing Motoyasu to attack and defeat him. Raphtalia, upon seeing that Malty had cheated, confronts Motoyasu and his companion. At that moment, all the other heroes and even the king tell Raphtalia all the false accusations about Naofumi, so that she too would think of him as a criminal. However, Raphtalia does not believe the lies so easily, since she knows Naofumi personally and sees him as her savior. The next day, Naofumi is informed that thanks to his participation and victory in the first wave, he can continue to be Raphtalia's partner. Before leaving, Raphtalia defends Naofumi in front of the king, shocking everyone. Continuing their adventure, the duo meets Belittled again, who offers them a filial egg. These are birds generally used as horses, which, as they level up, change their size until they reach the approximate size of an ostrich. Naofumi buys it because they need a way of traveling greater distances more comfortably. After a few days, the bird grows, and they discover that it's a filial queen that can become a young blonde with wings named Philo. In her bird form, Philo is useful for traveling and fighting. They discover that she doesn't lose these aspects in her human form as well, making her an invaluable addition to Naofumi's party. Naofumi meets Erhard, Melromarc's blacksmith, during their stay in the village. After Malty's accusations, he had been one of the first to believe in Naofumi's innocence. When the hero visits his store for the first time, Erhard is amazed at his bargaining power to lower prices and quickly becomes friends. On another visit, after advising him on how to make people change their opinion of him, Erhard also helps Naofumi and Raphtalia by upgrading their weapons and armor. While staying in Melromarc, the heroes make several allies and change the town's perspective of the shield hero. One day, while at a tavern, Naofumi hears about his fellow chosen companions' accomplishments in the nearby towns. He learns how Moriyasu had saved a village from starvation by planting a magical seed that would give them plenty of food. Also, Ren defeats a dragon that has a town under constant siege. Itsuki, meanwhile, overthrows a regime of corrupt rulers with a group of rebels. After hearing this, Naofumi decides that he must do something even better to make people realize that he can also be a great hero. Before looking for a big mission to help some town, Naofumi decides to visit the towns that his fellow heroes had helped. However, upon reaching the village that Moriyasu saved from starvation, he found something unexpected. It turns out that the magical seed Moriyasu planted was possessed, causing its fruits to be poisonous and the villagers to fall ill. Naofumi uses his abilities to help heal the townspeople and prevent them from dying from poison. Once the villagers are cured, Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo fight the possessed plant to save the village. When everyone is out of danger, the townspeople are very grateful and offer the heroes a reward. Continuing his journey, Naofumi finds a town being hit by an intense pandemic. He uses his powers again to cure all the inhabitants who had fallen ill and sets out to discover the origin of the disease. While talking to the village doctor, he tells him that the cause of the pandemic is a dragon's body that Ren defeated. Unfortunately, the dragon's body rotted as the days passed and became infected, thus causing the pandemic. Naofumi offers to clean it up as long as his work is fairly rewarded. Naofumi and Raphtalia begin to clean up the mess, but the dragon revives in a zombie version of himself, attacking the heroes. Midway through the battle, Philo is bitten by the zombie dragon. This causes a furious Naofumi to release a new power from his shield called the Wrath Shield, as he believes that the dragon had killed Philo. Despite being an ability with incredible power, it's also very dangerous as Naofumi is almost totally consumed with hatred when using it. Only Raphtalia can help him come back to his senses, getting cursed by the shield's flames in return. At the end of the battle, they manage to emerge victorious. Philo, who turns out to be fine, gives Naofumi a gem she found inside the dragon, which he uses to improve his abilities. During his stay in the village, Naofumi begins to worry about the new power since it can be hazardous for him and his companions, so he decides to use the Wrath Shield only for emergencies that require it. Raphtalia gets better after a few healing spells and some rest. Together, they continue their journey through the villages, aided by the other heroes. Arriving at the village that Itsuki had helped, they realize that the bow heroes' efforts had also been in vain. The town is still full of corrupt people, only now the resources are scarcer. Naofumi offers them food and money to help them survive for a while, hoping that they'll improve their way of life so that they can all prosper. They realize that another wave is approaching during their stay, and decide to go back to the capital town to prepare for battle with the other warriors. On their way back, Naofumi and Raphtalia meets Malty, a young and noble-looking girl in the middle of the forest. The hero offers to take her to a nearby town with the intention that she'll give him some reward for his help. As the travel days go by, the group grows closer, and Naofumi grows fond of Malty. However, upon reaching a town, Motoyasu appears alongside Malty, who has been ordered to assassinate the shield hero. But before they could attack him, Malty comes to Naofumi's defense, and she's revealed to be Malty's younger sister and next in line for the throne. She cancels any order to attack the shield hero on the spot, leaving her fellow travelers dumbfounded. After learning that Malty is part of the royal family, Naofumi loses his trust in her. He thinks she's just as bad as the other royal family members. Arriving back at Melromarc, Naofumi speaks with Erhard and learns that his team's level is already very high. Therefore, he can request to rank up. but the Church of the Three Heroes forbids the shield hero and his companions from doing any promotion in his rank. Naofumi then talks to Belocas to see if he has any idea how he could raise his status. He tells him that he can apply for a promotion in the Hybrid's town instead, since the religion accepts the shield hero. But before the team could make the journey, the next wave arrives in town. During the wave, Naofumi and the other heroes are confronted by Glass, a mysterious and powerful woman who challenges Naofumi to a duel. Naofumi was worried, however, as Glass was strong enough to defeat any opponent, including his fellow summoned heroes, in one hit. Naofumi realizes that it's time to use the Wrath Shield again. By invoking it, Naofumi can stay in the battle against Glass until the wave timer runs out and she disappears. After the battle, the other heroes are surprised by the power of Naofumi's Wrath Shield, and even Alt Cray is surprised. However, the king threatens to torture Raphtalia and Philo if Naofumi doesn't hand it over to him. Naofumi's response to the king's threat is that he is an even worse danger to the king if he does not leave him alone. No one is brave enough, however, to fight the hero who was strong enough to single-handedly help them survive the last wave. With this, Naofumi simply leaves the room as everyone else dares not move. Before leaving the castle, Naofumi bumps into the mysterious figure of a girl who warns him that he should be wary of the Church of the Three Heroes. Before the group leaves Melromarc, the king sends Malty after them, thinking that Naofumi would trust her. Malty arrives to speak with them. However, a group of royal guards start attacking the group, including Malty. The heroes knock out the guards without harming them and flee with Malty to another town. But it turns out that this entire attack was being recorded with magic on Malty's orders. So she uses a spell to alter the images, making it appear that Naofumi and his group killed the guards and kidnapped Malty. This false evidence turns all the townspeople against the Shield Heroes party again. After viewing the altered video, the king sends the three other summoned heroes to capture Naofumi and his party and rescue Malty. They use a spell to nullify the group's special powers, leaving them with only melee defenses. During the confrontation, Malty asks the summoned heroes to save her sister and destroy the shield hero as he's an enemy of the kingdom. However, Ren and Itsuki watched as Malty tries to kill her own sister with a direct attack and realized that it was all a ruse by Malty. Before she could attack the heroes, Raphtalia attacks her, making her run away. As Malty flees, a group of soldiers attack Naofumi, forcing him to use the Wrath Shield again. When the battle is over, Naofumi approaches Ren and tells him that he should investigate the Church of the Three Heroes, since their leader is planning something. As night falls, Malty tells the group that they should talk to Melromarc's queen, as she has more political power than the king and might help them. Suddenly, the mysterious girl from the castle reappears, revealing that she is a messenger from the queen. She tells them that they should go to the hybrid village since they would be safe there. Furthermore, Naofumi will have a personal meeting with the queen to discuss the issue of the Church of the Three Heroes. When they arrive at Luralona, the hybrid's town, the group is welcomed by Reinhard, a young man from a noble family. He had a close relationship with Lord Seato, the formal ruler of the village. During her first night back in her home village, Raphtalia's memories of her parents and her previous life as an enslaved person start coming back. The day after they arrive, the group is surrounded by a group of soldiers led by Rabia, a nobleman involved with the Church of the Three Heroes. Rabia tells them that he's there to arrest Naofumi for kidnapping Malty. Still, the hero refuses to turn himself in. When his plans don't go his way, Rabia kidnaps Malty, hoping that Naofumi will turn himself in exchange for her. Instead, Naofumi goes together with his companions to rescue Malty, and they find out Rabia's identity. He was Raphtalia's previous abusive owner who tortured her and her friends. After rescuing Malty, Raphtalia takes revenge against Rabia, finally overcoming the traumas Rabia caused her. The heroes then head to the dungeons below Rabia's house, where they manage to rescue Raphtalia's friends, who manage to survive. However, before they can leave, Rabia appears and summons a beast to finish off the heroes. Though this plan doesn't go as expected, and the beast crushes him instead. The heroes manage to lure the beast out of the village so the villagers aren't in danger, but they don't seem to be able to defeat it. Suddenly, a large Philolial appears mid-battle and quickly attacks and defeats the beast. When the beast is defeated, the great Philolial transforms into a girl named Vittoria, who turns out to be the current Philolial queen. She takes them to some nearby ruins to spend the night. There, she has a conversation with Naofumi, and suggests he stop fighting the other summoned heroes, as heroes are not supposed to be fighting with each other. Vittoria also challenges Philo to a fight, where she proves her worth to be the next Philolial queen. In the end, Philo manages to earn being Victoria's official successor to the throne and gets a considerable increase in her power. Naofumi decides to listen to Victoria and, with his group, goes to Melromarc to clarify everything with the other summoned heroes. Meanwhile, Ren and Itsuki were investigating the Church of the Three Heroes as told by Naofumi. Unfortunately, they found evidence that they were planning something strange, dangerous, and dark. Back at the entrance to the kingdom, the heroes are awaited by Motoyasu and Malty, ready to attack them. However, before there can be a confrontation, both heroes are attacked by a powerful spell. It turns out that both heroes were attacked by Balmus, the high priest of the Church of the Three Heroes. He possesses a magic weapon that can mimic the abilities of the summoned heroes' legendary weapons, making him an extremely dangerous opponent. Balmus had the plan to destroy all the heroes in the kingdom so that from then on, he would only lead the monarchy and the religion. Before Balmus attacks Motoyasu and Naofumi again, Ren and Itsuki arrive to join the group to confront the high priest. The summoned heroes in Naofumi's party did their best during the battle. Still, Balmus's weapon was too powerful, mimicking and returning all the attacks they sent him. So, before Balmus could launch a fatal attack on the group, Naofumi uses the Wrath Shield at max level, defeating Balmus. However, using that amount of power required a blood sacrifice from Naofumi, leaving him injured and weak on the verge of death. At that moment, Queen Mirelia, the actual ruler of Melromarc, appears at the battle site and rushes to help and heal Naofumi to prevent his death. Thanks to her abilities, she manages to heal Naofumi until he's out of any mortal danger, and they can take care of him in the castle. The next day, the queen proves to be a different person than Naofumi thought she would be. She's kind and considers him a hero on the same level as the other summoned heroes. She also informs him that he'll have the same privileges as the other three heroes from now on. Mirelia also put Outcray and Malty on trial for their actions against the hybrid people and the shield hero. During the trial, the queen orders Malty to have a slave seal applied so that she can't tell a single lie without harm. So when they question her about the shield hero's supposed crimes, Malty can't fake anymore. She reveals that it was all a lie, that Naofumi never wanted to take advantage of her. She also confesses to altering the evidence to make them look guilty and that she tried to murder Malty. Queen Mirelia sentences Malty and Outcray to public execution by guillotine. However, when Mirelia is about to give the order to the executioner, Naofumi interferes, stopping the execution. The hero convinces the queen that execution is not a sufficient punishment and gives her the idea of changing their names so they'll never forget their crimes. The queen agrees and changes Outcray's name to Trash and Malty's to Bitch, ending the act of shame toward the former king and princess. All the inhabitants finally renounce the Church of the Three Heroes. Thanks to overthrowing Balmus, Naofumi and his party can now rank up in the city shrine. After being promoted from their slave ranks, Raphtalia and Philo can be free. However, after sharing so much together and developing affection towards the hero, they prefer to stay with Naofumi. Naofumi also ranks up as well and unleashes a new set of shields and abilities for their future combats. Once all problems are cleared up, the summoned heroes are sent along with Naofumi's group to the Kalmira Islands. Thanks to its wine production and hot springs, this archipelago is a famous tourist site. The leader, Count Habenberg, welcomes the group of heroes and informs them that the next wave will appear there. The group spends their time resting and leveling up to prepare for the wave on the island. During the trip, the group meets Lark and Therese, a pair of adventurers who quickly become friends with the group. After celebrating a night with all his friends, Naofumi expresses that he feels that true friends surround him and he feels at home for the first time. The next day, the wave begins and a battle between the heroes and the troops led by Queen Mirelia against a series of sea monsters begins. The heroes and their companions have the upper hand against the sea monsters during the wave. However, suddenly, Lark and Therese attack the group of summoned heroes. Naofumi asks why they're being attacked, and before the duo can answer, Glass appears, seeking revenge against the shield hero. She also explains that Lark and Therese are heroes of her world, affected by waves because of Naofumi. Raphtalia, Philo, and Malty confront Lark and Therese during the battle, so they don't interfere in Glass and Naofumi's battle. Thanks to his new powers gained from ranking up, Naofumi can see Glass's weakness and manages to defeat her. Glass and the adventuring duo have no choice but to flee, spelling victory for the group of heroes. However, despite winning, Naofumi feels something's wrong. The shield hero thinks he has met his match with Glass. She demonstrated a strong sense of camaraderie with the adventuring duo. Furthermore, he admits that he would have done the same thing if he had been in Glass's position. Because of this, he feels he won't be able to fight in the next wave. However, he also realizes that he has now a group of friends and an entire kingdom that also need his help, so he begins to prepare for the next battle. After the last wave, Naofumi is rewarded with the village of Luralona, and now he's the ruler of the hybrid town. With the help of the locals, Naofumi begins to repair and improve the city to give its inhabitants a better life after so many injustices suffered. Now, the summoned heroes and Naofumi's group prepare for the future battles and defend Melromarc against all future waves. And that was Rising of the Shield Hero Season 1 recapped. If you enjoyed this recap, remember to click that sub, hit the like button, and comment down below to let me know what you think of the series. I'll see you in the next video.